All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, January 19th of 2018, and this is the TRC sales training call. I'm going to open up the mics here quickly because I want to make sure that I do indeed have a good microphone here. I've been struggling a little bit with the Skype line, so let me just double check that right now. Guys, can you hear me okay? I hear a little interference on my line. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, fabulous.
With some static.
Okay, with some static, you said? Okay. All right. Well, let's see what happens here. We'll get rolling. Let me know. It's I don't know why Skype, the line has been a little tricky, but I want to keep the live broadcast on Facebook going, so we'll get after this. Let me just put you all on hold for a second. I want to share something. Okay, so behind me on a board here, if you're on Facebook, you see it, but if you're just on the line, I'll explain it to you. This has been a very interesting week of coaching and training, because it was loaded. I had the Griffin Realty Group training yesterday morning. Then I had the campfire training for all the agents and participants on teams. And then I had the mastermind where we focus on management of all of this stuff. And it's a lot of work. But one of the things that was a common theme that came up, and especially started in my 2-hour live training with my Griffin Realty Group agents, when it comes to sales, there's really is too much reliance on this concept of resume and talent. And those are two things that I want to put on the table early and often and repeat those today, is that sales have much more to do about a formulaic approach, because you're not really selling anything. Somebody is either interested in buying or selling real estate, and you're going to guide them through that process or not. That's a very simple fact of life here. So you're not selling anything, rather guiding. I'm not saying that ultimately you don't have to sell them to some extent on why that you don't have to sell them in that final leap of faith where they're sort of stuck on accepting an offer or writing one. I get it. That probably is active selling. But a lot of new agents, including at the Griffin Realty Group, they have this sense of, well, what do I do if I get up against somebody that has resume? I don't have one. Okay, that comes up constantly. But the other thing that comes up often is, well, I'm not so worried about that. It's that when they ask me a question, I don't know the answer, I feel stupid. So it turns out that it's this fear of embarrassment that we're really worried about. We're really worried about being wrong when we say something. Now, we might call it, well, that guy or gal has a better resume, they're more talented. We call it all these other things, when in fact, in truth, it is simply our fear of being wrong. So what we talked about, and I'm going to recommend this all, that is very, very required reading if you hang around with me, is to go and check out Maxwell Maltz's book, The New Psycho-Cybernetics, okay? It's something that, along with Napoleon Hill's work, I arrived at and I really fell in love with, because I'm a big fan of how-to. It's one thing for me to sit here and try to help you all and not tell you how to. That would drive me batty, and it would leave you in a nebulous place where you weren't sure what to do exactly next when you get off the phone. But the one thing that you have to do is understand that you are on the side of your goals. So you write your goals down. Brian Tracy Goals 101. Write them down. Physical pen, paper, legal pad. Write them down. Not even just digital. I mean, they've got to be written, and written with frequency, so you program the subconscious. But why is it that some people could write down 50,000, 100, 1 million, 5 million, and reach it quickly, and others can't? It's because the same resources, well, the reason I asked that question, we all have the exact same resources. We all have the exact same amount of time available to us. I know you might not think they have the money or whatever your excuse is. You all have the same resources. So the difference is the way that you see that opportunity through your own personal lens. The one thing that makes you unique as a salesperson, entrepreneur, is the lens through which you see all this stuff that I'm about to talk about. So you have to understand that your lens is speckled with dirt. You have a dirty lens. We all do. And how does that happen? It happens because of life events where most of the time something traumatic or something dramatic happened to us and something went wrong. So we see the world of opportunity or goals in a speckled, spotty way. The coolest thing about that, according to Maxwell Maltz, is you can just wipe that lens off, right? That's all. I know that's easier said than done, but it's true. So I want you to understand that when we go into this, because last week this happened, Josh was cool enough to put something on the table, and he brought up resume. And as that permeated throughout the rest of last week or this week, it just kept coming up. But I don't know what you know, Danny. But I haven't done what you've done, Danny, right? I heard that all along the way. Or I haven't done what that competitor's done. Let's just get rid of that thought for a second. Let's just latch on to the fact that what if, especially today in this context of sales training, we put some formulas on the table and you just try them. In other words, what if we stop making it so much about us and our lens and how we feel and what our intellectual insecurities are and make it completely, it's hard to do, make it completely about helping somebody else. This is exactly where I left my team, okay? Why not you to be the one that can help somebody else? And all you need is a formulaic, simple approach to begin to educate them and see where it goes, okay? So keep that all in mind today as we go through this. Everything that you hear today is going to go through a lens through which you see the world. Sometimes you won't even hear me. I'll have to go back and repeat it and condition it, and that's okay with me, all right? So let's get after it. I would love to jump right into role play. I know I asked a couple of you, and I can't remember whom, to come here and be right after it with me when it comes to role playing on the inside sales. But I want to be very cognizant today. We need to shift to outside sales at the half hour. Okay. So I want to role play, but I also want to role play. What do you say when you're having that meltdown moment where you feel like, oh my gosh, they just mentioned Sally and Sally's resume is like 9 miles long. I want to get to that outside sale too. All right. So any of you, when I open up the microphones, please remember *6, mute your microphone if you're in the call. If you're watching on Facebook, welcome. If you're a member, you should be in the call so you can participate too. But the point is, you want to make sure you speak up. Stop learning from the bleachers. If you're scared on a call like this that's safe and we're trying to get better, I can only imagine what it's like for you when you get a real call going and the blood gets pumping or you're in the house, okay? We're here to be in a safe environment, albeit aggressive, to teach you correctly, okay? Here we go. *6, mute your mic, *7, unmutes it. All right, anybody want to jump in the hot seat with me? And we walk through, we can slow it down, walk through what we have learned about scripting. Yes? Let me have a volunteer.
I will, Danny.
Okay, thanks. Who's that?
It's Laura.
Oh, Laura. I didn't even recognize your name, my voice, my own Laura. All right, Laura. So, Laura, let's also tell. Well, but Laura, you know what I thought you did? You had a wonderful share with our team yesterday. If you don't know who Laura is my inside sales. I will call her inside sales partner because that's the way we look at our business. Extraordinaire. She's been doing it for 12 years. However, she and I readily admit to our team of agents that we're training that we have our challenges and we have our fears. So why don't you tell them about that whole experience that you had yesterday before we go into a little role play, okay?
Sure. Well, even though I've been doing this for 12 years, I think we recently have started to do expired calls. And it's not something that I really feel comfortable yet doing. And then since I've been back on maternity leave, I've recently kind of discovered that I have anxiety, and which also translates to me on on the phone, obviously. So I recently decided to go on medication, which I shared with our team, and it's helped me immensely be more relaxed, just, obviously in home life, and it also kind of translates in my job. Mm-hmm. And so I realized, looking back, when in the days when I started real estate, all me sweating and getting red-faced on the phone when I first started, a lot of it had to do with the amount of anxiety in my body.
Right.
So all these years I've been fighting through it, and now I think I'm worked through it. So making these expired phone calls, calming myself, I realized that I'd be able to come kind of less attached to the outcome and just more in touch with the fact that I'm just trying to reach out to these people and help them versus try to sell them, something over the phone.
Yeah. Awesome. Anybody feel the same way? You want to get it off your chest and say, hey, thanks, Laura, for sharing that, because I feel that way too?
Laura, I appreciate you saying that because I just went through the same thing, and the doctor wanted to put me on anxiety medication as well. So I really appreciate your strength in coming forth and sharing that.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It wasn't an easy decision because I'm more of a holistic type of person. But I'm really glad my girlfriend actually pushed me to do this, and it's really helped my overall life in every aspect.
Okay, so what's the point here, everybody?
Hey, Dan.
Hang on one sec. We all suffer from this fear. And it's so powerful that it manifests itself in this sales context, and it can swallow you whole. And you can be sitting here listening to this type of a call, and it can make enormous amounts of logic to you. And by the way, all my team leaders that are helping somebody else do this with you, for you, this is why you often get frustrated, because you've gotten to the point where you're perhaps beyond any level of anxiety that is debilitating you from articulating simple logic. Be patient with people that are coming on to your team, especially those that don't know the half of what we know. So I think it's important for both all of you who are newer, struggling, trying to get up and going, to understand that the level of anxiety earlier in your career is 100% going to be elevated, and because you know less at that point in time. So my endeavor when I opened the call was to say, I will deal with that today. I know it feels like therapy sometimes, because it is. Everything that we do as business people is affected by the way we see the world. All my mastermind members, they know that because they struggle to become something grander themselves to manage. A lot of my mastermind members are fabulous and confident at technical work, meaning selling. They're fabulous. They're online here today, and both the Facebook group and on the live call, they're fabulous at selling. And they're like, what are you talking about, anxiety? This is nothing. But yet, if I throw the spotlight on them to manage, you should see them all get squirrely, right? Myself included. So when you look at that, there's an anxiety level at every level where we don't know what we don't know. So our job here is tie these rafts together and embrace this. Yeah, go ahead. Was that Heather? I don't know. I recognize the voice, I thought. Who else was trying to weigh in on that? Somebody want to make a comment on that?
This is Leslie.
Hi, Leslie. Go ahead.
This is Leslie.
Yes, go ahead, Dawn.
So I was talking to Paul this morning, and I got an email that there's a realtor buyer agent, and her clients can't seem to find a house within the $1,500,000 to $2 million range in Birmingham. And so I thought, well, I'll just look around at expired listings because that's what we do, and she may not have looked at expired listings. So I called a couple of expired listings. I'm in a conversation now with the seller who's in Florida. It's been off the market since November. But Paul said, so I'm not the buyer's agent, but I'm trying to get the listing.
Yep.
But Paul said, well, why do you wait until there's an actual buyer? I have buyers. And I said, well, I don't know your buyers. I'm not comfortable calling and saying that I have a buyer when I don't really have a buyer. I mean, I'm a therapist. I teach telling the truth.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to just call on a theoretical basis and say, well, I have buyers when I don't have buyers.
Yeah, so don't do it.
And he said, I need to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll disagree with him. I'll disagree. Yes, it does, and I'll disagree with him. And I'm happy to have Paul in here talking about it. I do get where he's going to go with it. He is going to say, and this is the way that you bridge the gap where it becomes your truth. And this is the whole point of this call. We get anxious, and Laura, I'll come back to you. Stay right there. We get anxious because you were brave enough. You were the first one, and last week's call, I thought was very brave, to talk about your deep training as a Catholic woman, and that helps transform the way that you see the world versus somebody who's not that, right? So because of that, let's go back to that you brought up last week. That makes you pursue veracity in everything that you do, I would gather, right? Is that's just the honest way that you live, right? So I get it. And again, I grew up in a place where that's the thing, for sure. So I really get it. The point is, it doesn't mean that Paul's wrong, per se, in what he wants to say about it. Because if you get comfortable that Paul is working with a lot of buyers and you can see their names and they're tangible to you and they're in a list, that becomes very real for you because you just tweak the language. My partner Paul and I, have a lot of buyers that were looking, for properties. And there's, as you know, there's a limited inventory that may or may not suit their needs. So we're always looking for the next one. That would be a completely true statement as long as Paul attaches you to his list, right? So your language to say me is a violation of that veracity code. I get it. And I think that anytime, oops, did I just lose you guys? Hang on. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Yep, I'm coming back. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Sorry about that. We just had a technical snafu. That's the tragedy of using this. So, yep, I'm coming back. Somebody mentioned inside the call, somebody that's on Facebook and inside, say I'm coming back. I'm just trying to get back on the line here. So, got a little technical difficulty. Coming right back in.
Welcome to
Kerrigan, tell him in there. You're responsible.
Enter the conference ID, followed by the pound key. Thank you. Moderator ID accepted. All guests are currently unmuted. To mute all guests, press pound. For help with host options, press *0. You will now be connected with the conference.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Guys, I'm back. Guys, I'm back.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm back, guys. Somebody just make sure you mute me if you got a loud mic there. Sorry, my bad. Skype kicked me off. Okay, so let's go back to this. So that truth that you have there, okay, hang on, I got a couple of hot mics here. I got to quiet them. All right, so that truth that you have there, you could be connected to him, okay? That's okay. And is that where he's going?
He's saying, well, I have buyers, and I said, I don't know your buyers. I can't, that's not enough for me. I can't just, and then they say, so then I get the listing and they're like, well, where's your buyer? And I'm
that's
like,
right.
Well,
okay, stop. I got you.
I don't have a buyer right now.
Leslie, stop. I'm with you. 100% bullseye. The minute you say something that you're not attached to, you got it. We talked about this last week too. If you don't, here's what I said too, and I don't know what page it's on back here. If you don't believe in the basic core offer that you're making, man, do you have a big time problem, right? You have a big time problem. You've got to make sure that you are connected to that offer. Whatever offer you make that is not rooted in your truth is dead on arrival, right? So I have absolutely no problem. You have to most certainly get in there with Paul and look at his list of buyers and match them up and say, look, Paul has been doing this for a long time, and he makes an incredible market with buyers who are always looking for properties. My job as part of that partnership is to go out and hunt these properties. And the reason I just stopped you, which I rarely do to you, the reason I stopped you, you were going down a slippery slope to try to explain to me at a 7th level of why this is the way you feel. I don't need that from you. And you don't need that from you, because the danger in that is you're not looking for a way to bridge the gap between what he's saying and what you believe. And that's the challenge with a belief system that gets in the way of selling something, right? Is that, but I just not going to do that. And I just, you just got yourself, you didn't realize it, very worked up very quickly based on this very strong core belief. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a critique, but it is interfering with you hearing that Paul is also right, and you just need to go bridge the gap. And if you cannot bridge that gap, then what you need to do is then you need to move on. But you have not given it a chance to bridge. You have to say, Paul, here's the deal. I don't know your buyer.
I need to know how.
Yeah. You sit with Paul and say, introduce me to this list of buyers and what they're doing. You don't need to know all his buyers personally, because that's not the offer you're making. You're going to the guy with the listing and say, look, independently, there's 2 things that happen at Birmingham Real Estate, okay? One is I am out there trying to make a market for sellers in their properties. So regardless of who we have or who some other brokerage promises you they have, I am here with a 7-step plan. It happens to be that I called you for another reason, but I have a plan and it has 7 steps to it and it's clear. And I believe in it wholeheartedly. Let me educate you about this because perhaps I could get underneath your situation and lift you up and you could benefit from this. That's beat number 1 for you. Okay? Beat number 1. Because if Paul was leaning in, it's because he doesn't want you to lose an opportunity. That's what Paul is. Paul's hungry. Okay? He's aggressive. So he leans in and says, Leslie, whoa, don't lose that. Right? Well, Paul, I don't know your buyers. It gets this, it almost becomes confrontational, which is not correct. It is a partnership. For all of you, hear me say this, all of you that are on a team, at a brokerage, wherever, it's a partnership. You chose to do that. So if you can lever each other, you better be doing that. So the way, how to sit with Paul and say, Paul, show me a clear list of names and people and what they're looking for. So at least I have the evidence. Don't try to make him go to some level that's not, I guess, reasonable. You've got to introduce me to these people. No, he doesn't. You're a market maker. So understand that what your job is to go to the seller with a 7-step plan. Number 1, your fiduciary responsibility, if they give you that listing, is to list with you in that 7-point plan. As part of you making a market for it, you could also say, hey, by the way, there's an occasion where Paul, working with so many buyers and the company working with so many buyers, we might be able to match this house up with somebody off that list. That's called our push marketing. We get off our duff and we try to make it with our own list plus our open houses and pushing it around the internet. Okay. But what's most likely is that if we'll just follow my plan, pricing it right, reconditioning or pricing the things out that we have, staging or moving your furniture around, and then digitizing that, we really have a good chance to get into the communicative part with buyers and their agents, and then into negotiation, which we already have prepared for with the math that we've done up front, and then close with care. You follow the difference?
Yeah.
Don't let your persona get in the way of learning the solution. Let me repeat that. All of you, don't let your persona as you are today, as you live and exist in the lens through which you see the world is comprised of your life up until this point. Lots of drama, trauma, good experiences, right? All of it's in there. So everything that we bring into the classroom today, everything that we bring to the discussion is there with us. You have to become aware that you can't trip over that. It is not about us. It is about them. So deferring to a simple plan of attack, a simple, believable, universally appealing plan is the way that you get out of the way of your persona, at least to a certain extent. So I gave you 2 beats. 1, the more important, attach to the front end of this, which is if all of a sudden, regardless of how you arrive at that, you have an opportunity to list, defer to your plan, and articulate your plan independent of part of push marketing, which might be the ability to immediately match up Paul or other agents on the team in the company, their buyers, with this listing. Okay. See, I get where you're coming from. There are a lot of trainers out there who I don't like this training either. Say, tell them you have a buyer. No, you don't. It's a lie. Unless you have somebody in your hands that you're working with that's on MLS or on any feed that you're giving them and they're getting updates of property and voila, there it is in front of you. That's the only time it's the truth. Every other time, it is a lie. I don't care how many spins you want to put on it. It's a lie. So I'm with you, but I'm also with Paul. He does have a list sitting there. Go learn that list, okay?
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love you. And the fact that you participate, I grabbed on to that persona that was starting to talk for you. Defer to the newer, open-minded, logical realtor self that you are, because you know what your problem is? You're super smart. You are really bright. And especially as a therapist who has spent an enormous amount of time thinking through things with people, we tend to miss the moment where that persona is cropping up and that whole thing that our own training is cropping up. I do the same. It's that emotional being that we are, and it clouds our ability to learn. So let me switch back to Laura. Laura, come on. Let's go. After all that, see how easy it is for anybody to fall into? Very quickly, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of it.
No doubt. Okay, so here we go. Let's hit it. What do you want me to do? You want to call me? And you want to call me in the context of expireds?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
So you're going to be the expired, correct?
I am the expired. The evil Danny expired.
Okay. All right, ring ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Danny?
It is speaking.
Hi, Danny. This is Laura from the Griffin Realty Group, and the reason for my call is I was calling to let you know we mailed you out our 7 steps to home seller success, and just wanted to make sure that you received it.
Okay. No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, it's coming in the mail to you, and I just, wanted to see if you were planning on relisting the property at any point, or if your plans have possibly changed.
No, I'm all set.
Okay. So does that mean that you are not wanting to sell the property anymore?
I don't know. I just think the market stinks, and, I'm disenchanted with realtors, and I just, I'm fed up.
Well, I definitely understand your frustration. The market, even though the inventory is historically low right now, which actually can be a benefit for sellers because there's not a lot for buyers to look at. There definitely can be frustrations, though, in selling it. Did you have any activity, when you had it listed?
A little bit. A couple people came. One guy second showing.
Okay. Well, what we put in the mail to you is how our 7-step strategic plan on how we get properties sold here at the Griffin Realty Group. Would it be okay to follow back up with you to kind of make sure that you see it and see if you have any questions about it?
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. I will check back with you next week then.
Okay, thanks. All right, David. David.
Over here, Danny.
Here we go. Ready? Ring, ring. Hello? You're calling me. Hello?
Hi, is this... Oh, I'm calling you. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, is this Danny?
It is. Speaking.
Hi, Danny. My name is David from the Griffin Realty Group. And the reason I'm calling you is because we saw that your property expired on the MLS. And I just wanted to let you know that I sent you our 7-step listing plan in the mail in case you're thinking about your listing.
Okay. All right, both of you. I'm going to have this branded on the side of your head, right? Here we go. Hi, guys. It's Danny Griffin, right? Hi, guys. It's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. And the reason I'm calling is because I saw that your listing expired on the MLS, so I sent you out my 7-step plan. Looks like a really nice house online. What do you think went wrong? I'm done. You see how much less it is? You see how much easier it is to sound conversational? Let's go back over this. You're both getting through the first couple of beats okay, but then you're really floundering because you're nervous, which is normal. Like we've talked about this, and again, Laura, you started the call off by saying how much call anxiety we all suffer from. I saw the O'Connors on the Facebook group, earlier watching. I mean, I don't care. Those guys probably make with Cantu more calls than anybody. I don't care what anybody tells you. Those guys will tell you they got to get themselves fired up. Cantu's sitting there with a mimosa, right, and a good view so that he can get himself in the right state of mind. I understand how darn hard it is. And your heart gets pumping because for whatever reason, we're that emotional being and we fear that rejection. And we've got to try to condition ourselves. Now, the best way to get around it is to make sure that what you do there is you don't focus on you, which is the hardest thing in sales, right? So the thing that you want to do is say, okay, it's about this person on the other end of the line whose listing has expired. And they may or may not want my help, but they need it. I don't care what they're going to say. They're going to tell me they expired. It's a failure. I know that as a professional. Hey, David, it's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. Let's talk about what the underlying psychology is. The reason I'm calling is because I saw that you listed your house on MLS. You screwed up the price. The pictures suck. The description is paltry. And that all led to you having no plan, which led you to go sideways here. And I bet you also didn't listen to the realtor, because I know the realtor and she's pretty good. So I bet you steamrolled over all her advice and buffaloed her down the road until you blamed her. That's the reality of the moment. But of course, you can't pick the phone up and say that. Okay? So you have to understand the beats that are there. Number one, who are you? And why are you Yep, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to need these beats in black and white.
Yeah, you have them. He's actually... Yeah, you have them. But see, you've been missing the sales training call because you thought you had this all down. Ha!
No. I would never get that.
By the way, if you all think I'm being... Hold on. If you all think I'm being aggressive, these are my personal team members, okay? So a little tongue in cheek here. But in all sincerity, the beat here is I have about 7 seconds to get out of my mouth who I am and why I'm interrupting them and what I have for them. I've got about 7 seconds. If you don't want to get hung up on, and you still will, because as soon as people hear something that sounds salesy, and David and Laura, we talked about this last time on tonality. Don't overdo it. The salespeople think that they're supposed to put this extra shine on. Hey, David, it's Danny calling from the Griffin Realty Group. Hey, how's it going, buddy? It's phony. Okay? It's phony. And Timmy Kerrigan, who's Marines tough tested, put something up here. Anyway, just tell the truth, right? About whichever applies. The truth is what matters. So we know the truth. You need my help. Okay? And you might be in a difficult spot. You might not think you want it, but you're going to get it. I don't care what you say. I'm going to give you my help. Hang on. Here we go. Laura, it's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw that you expired on MLS, so I sent you out my 7-step plan, which I thought could help. Looks like a pretty good house. What do you think happened? How come it didn't sell? I took it off intentionally. Oh, really? Your plans changed? Nope. I just got sick of the realtor. Well, what went wrong? I don't know. Well, how far did you get? I mean, did anybody come to see it? Nope. Okay. Well, what did they do to price it right? Did you go over an analysis? Yep. They showed me no. Did they take an analysis against your assessed value and make adjustments? See, now I'm going to go into some expertise, but I'm going to fight for that moment of logic. So regardless, and this is what I wanted to do today, and I want to get you outside sales agents leaning in this too. These are frequently mentioned objections. When I say something in the script, the next beat out of my mouth after who I am, the context of why I'm calling them, is a question to provoke conversation. You're not mind readers, but they will read theirs out loud for you if you ask the right question, right? That's the key to this. So here we go. You try it again on me, Laura. Don't give me the rhetoric. Just give me the script. You heard what I said. Now try it. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, see, I knew I couldn't get you there. I knew it. Hold on. I knew I couldn't get you there. Just do it, then come back to me with the rhetoric. Go. Here we go. Go. Let's see what it sounds like. Go. Hello? Hello?
Okay. She's going to kill you.
That's okay. I can take a punch, and she's a redhead, so she's tough, and she is. Go. Hello? Yes, speaking.
Hi, Danny. This is Laura with the Griffin Realty Group, and the reason why I'm calling is because I saw that your home expired off the multiple listing service, and I'm letting you know that we sent out our 7-step plan to help you figure out what went wrong. Or no, that was the wrong word.
No, it's okay. Do it again. Quickly go back. Let's try to condition it. It was good. Instead of plan's too generic. We learned that you should reference something specific like listing plan. Okay. So that was really a big improvement because I heard Laura finally. I know you. I heard you in that one. Do it again. Go. Hello?
Hi, is this Danny?
Speaking.
Danny, this is Laura with the Griffin Realty Group, and the reason why I'm calling is because I saw that your home expired off the multiple listing service, and I'm letting you know that we sent you out our 7-step home seller success plan in the mail to you, and you should be getting that shortly. What do you think went wrong?
Okay, you're stumbling over it. It's just a conversation, right? You're stumbling over it because you're overthinking this, all of you.
Well,
yeah, hold on. You're all overthinking scripting because once you hear the word script, you all ask me for one every week. So be careful what you wish for. I'm trying to give you one in an introductory segment that does not allow you to think.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Okay, so, but my intro is going to be different because David has already said that exact intro.
Hi,
so
Laura.
My phone call is the second phone call made to these expired. So,
hey, Laura.
I think
it's
that's
Danny. Hey, Laura. Hey, Laura. It's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is I know that my office sent you out our 7-step listing plan. I just want to make sure you've received it. Have you received it yet? No, I'm all set. Oh, you mean you're not listing again? Whatever, just get to the point faster with less words. Reiterate the offer. Remember, they don't know what David said X number of days ago because presumably if you're not going to call for 48, see, everybody should understand that this is an assembly line in my office. David's in the Philippines. He makes a phone call, the toughest one. He picks up the phone and he says, hey, it's David calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling, and by the way, you both missed the question. David, you missed the question again, and you're going to hurt yourself. Looks like a nice property. Any reason that you think it didn't sell? Let them have a little bit of a breath. We want them to read their mind out loud. Why? Gail picked up on this yesterday. I am very keen on trying to help you all get a clear outcome. And if I'm not hard on you on this call, you will leave the language to be nebulous and you will not get a clear outcome. So what we're trying to do is formalize human beings, which is very difficult to do. It's like trying to rein in wild horses. Hi, I'm Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because David sent you out my 7-step listing plan. Did you get that yet? No, I didn't. Well, great. It will be coming.
But you know,
hold on. Let me finish. Redhead, you keep hold on. You keep steamrolling me. Hold on. I wasn't done. Right? So now, did you get it yet? No. Boom. Next question. And this is where Mahalowicz is really good. Next question, right? Geez, I was looking at it online here. It looks like a really nice property. Any reason you think it didn't sell? I still can get back to my question. I want to know why they think it didn't sell. Why? Because I know what they need. They need a comprehensive plan for sure. But their perception, here we go. Their perception is that it failed because of one of those global categories. Try me. Give me an answer. Why didn't it sell, Laura?
I'm not really sure. We had showings, and then that was like it. We didn't get feedback. They just, moved on, and I didn't hear anything else from after the showing.
Well, Laura, there's part of my plan. In fact, if you got that far, it's good news for me to help guide you with that plan. When you get it, what you're going to see, because I know you didn't get it yet, it's very, very price sensitive. You can improve your pricing by reconditioning low to no cost things and then move furniture around or have a professional stager. That professional digital marketing matters. I'm looking at yours online. Looks okay. There could be some improvements, but who cares? Because you got all the way towards showings. The key component there is it's actually stage number 5. Okay? Stage number 5 is everything. You need that feedback. We actually use a professional company called Showing Time, which will not only help us book all the showings so we don't miss them, but it will help solicit the feedback. You need that. That's part of our plan. See where I'm going? So no matter what objection, David, give me an objection. You hear them all the time. What are they? Give me one, please.
The most common would be they weren't able to sell at the price range that they wanted.
Okay. Do you mean you didn't get an offer?
Yeah, well, I got an offer, but it was a lot lower than what I wanted.
Okay. How'd the negotiation go? I mean, was there a lot of back and forth, or did they just make it? Because again, what we use to make your case for you is evidence. We have all sorts of mathematical formulas that we use so that when the negotiation time comes, we show you where the trading range is most likely to be, and we're able to present that evidence to make the case. That's true market making. Was that done for you?
Actually, I don't know. I just let the agent do his work, and I was waiting for his feedback, which never really came.
Okay. Our feeling is this, is that this plan needs to include you and empower you to make the correct decisions. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to get that plan, and then I'd like to go over it with you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay.
Danny, if I can just bring this up. You're shifting, again, the lens towards me, and it's making me feel that, yeah, I am the one who is the focal point here. I think it's the biggest challenge for a lot of us ISAs, really making it about the person you're talking to and not about us.
Yeah, why? Well, so let's get to the heart of the matter. And outside sales agents, I'm looking for you. I've got some of my team members out there. Timmy Kerrigan, you're out there. Mutart, Kleba. I need to hear from some of you guys and gals that are on the outside sales, especially my mastermind members. We need to talk about this, because whether it's you or them, I'm telling you what I see. The biggest mistakes are. Jerry Haig, nice to see you online too. Jerry O'Connor, some of the best salespeople I have are on this call here today. I'm telling you, a lot of the best salespeople do this subconsciously. But if you were to ask them to teach it, they struggle. Tommy Turner's one of those guys too. These guys are really good at this. And they're doing it subconsciously. And doing what? They're actually understanding and reading that other human being's needs, and they're providing from their bank of knowledge an answer or a cure or a direction for that person's needs. That's all they're doing. So what you're all doing that don't do that naturally, and Laura just did it. She got all confused about, am I saying the right line? Am I not saying the right line? What we have to just understand is the beats. Here's who I am. Here's why I'm interrupting you. And here's what I have for you, sent you, am going to give to you, and you don't have a choice. I'm putting it on you. You have it, or you already took it. Hey, Laura, Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling, I saw that you opted into our website to get properties for sale in the Boston area. Is it working okay for you? Is everything coming through correctly? Are those the right parameters? Any of those work. Because it's authentic. Let's go back to what Leslie said. It's an authentic conversation. Isn't that what you really want to know if you're truly helping them? But everybody's, a lead. Are you buying? Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you selling? That's the internal dialogue. Prospects pursued, run away. You know what I call it? The puppy effect. The brand new puppy comes home, jumping up and down all over your leg, right? Stop. Relax. And be about them.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Come on.
Danny.
Dino.
Catch your breath for 1 second.
Here, go. Come on.
Let me ask you a real simple question.
Yep.
Are you trying to sell the people on the other side of the phone something, or are you trying to create a relationship?
Yeah, well, CRM. They're in my CRM, my contact relationship.
I think that's where but I think that's where it comes from. I think I'm not saying you. I'm asking David and Laura.
Oh.
When I hear their objection, it sounds to me like they feel that they have to sell something. And the reality of it is, you're not on that call to sell something. You're there to create a relationship first.
You got it.
It's like the old saying, you don't walk into a bar and ask a girl if they want to marry you. You ask them if they would like you to buy them a drink first.
Yep. It's that simple.
I love that.
And that's all the objections I keep hearing about.
That's right. So because
stop trying to convince yourself that you're not. And Danny and I have had this conversation. I'm not a fan of the ISA. I think it should be customer relationships development.
Right.
Because that's where you have to come from. And that's where you can come from a feeling of having some empathy for the person on the other side of the phone.
Dean, we actually used a pretty strong analogy that I've used before in the Griffin Realty Group training yesterday. Here's what I said. Had a nice, be careful what you wish for. My avatar in front of me, 6 wonderfully fabulous women, okay? And I'm teaching them. All because most of them are newer, trying to improve. So understand the audience. So I said, because this kept coming up. This is a very, very big deal. The lens through which they see themselves. And it's this insecurity that pops up where all of a sudden the word sell, you're right, Dean, you nailed this. This is the center of the bullseye, what you're saying. The word selling, sales. Well, I don't want to be one of those people, I hear from a lot of women. Well, what? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? That's your lens putting it, you have to go put a definition on that word. So you did that, okay? Because selling to me is ultimate and detached from the outcome. There is no sale. It is quite frankly the invisible sale. You might consummate a closing, right? Through this unbelievable magnetic attraction. You're not selling, you're magnetically attracting through appropriate business building systems, okay? I am here to guide you through the home buying or home selling or agent business, okay? Any of those. I am genuinely here. You hear your buddy Gary Vaynerchuk saying it all the time. He gives away authentically his best stuff for free that's on his mind, fresh, every time he opens his mouth online, okay? Every time. And people say, well, how can you do that? Those are your trade secrets. That's it. There's where the concept of selling and this sense of scarcity comes in. If you help enough people in the context of, here's my plan, 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 and you get rejected all those times, and you arrive at this next person, whew, thank goodness you came. Nobody's come with a plan. Amen. When can you come over? Tonight? Now you get high. But if you stopped at those first 6 or 7,
I'm on the same page. You know, I look at it and say I'm damn proud to be a salesperson. I think the greatest people in the history of this country were salespeople. Columbus sold somebody to get his ass over here. Washington sold everybody on fighting with him and running headfirst into battle. But in 20 years of doing this, I have never once sold a home. Yeah. I've created an opportunity.
Right.
And that's the way that I look at it.
Right.
There's nothing sleazy or slimy about it.
Okay.
We're here to facilitate other people's opportunities to buy and sell.
So
but that's all we are. We're opportunity creators. We're facilitators. So stop being nervous about it.
So we own that.
And move in and say, what can I do to help you move along? I have a solution to your problem.
So we own that. What would you say to Laura, who suffers from that phone anxiety that she's dealing? It's not just phone anxiety, it's anxiety in general. But I see a lot of women or guys that are brand new in the business. Guys tend to ladies, this is a compliment to you, take it. We tend to be blockheads. Oftentimes we will fall forward and duh, that hurt. Let me go over this way. Not all guys, but I would say that when you hear a Dean or an I talk about it now, don't think for 1 second that my heart doesn't come through my chest every time I'm in a fight for, this luxury listing. And well, this other guy does this. It happens to everybody. It's the human condition. But if you can be detached from that outcome, if you don't have to have that listing genuinely, and you genuinely say, look, okay, I get it. You lined up this one and that one and they have resume. I'll bet that none of them sent what I just sent you. You know why? Because I wrote it. And it's coming. And it's everything that I've ever learned about real estate, selling a property, listing and selling a property in order. Read it. Maybe it'll help one of those superstars that you're ultimately going to hire. But I still want you to have it. Because I'm detached from the outcome of getting your listing. I was really calling to help you up. Say that to somebody. Say that to somebody. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like there's kind of a conundrum with these calls because I really connect to everything that Dean said, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything that he said. I feel like if you said to me, call these people and see if you could help them in any way, that I would have a lot easier time having a conversation than saying to me, Laura, call these expireds and say this exact words and hit these beats. I think the formality and structure of it makes me nervous.
Okay, but hold on.
Then you're always thinking.
Yeah, but hold on.
Double thinking everything that comes out of your mouth.
But hold on.
Don't get me wrong, Laura. The script is still right. It's how you take ownership of it.
That's right. He's right.
I'd like to say something about
Come on,
that
Gail.
as well.
Come on, Gail.
Let go of the outcome. I'm not so sure. I mean, when I do the calls, I write down what do I want in my outcome. I mean, I'm there for a reason. I'm there calling for a reason. How I get there, I guess that's the big deal for everybody. So if they don't have anxiety, I don't know.
Gail.
You know, all of our life, during the day, we have to manage our emotions, right? That's the biggest thing we have to do. So the way that I calm myself down is writing these things out. Like I just did an hour and a half of calling, and every time I could have said something a little bit different. And I was thinking about the guy that I talked to you about has a $14 million listing. And basically he was, you know, upset, of course. But there was things that I could have said the next time around when I speak with him, which I will, because I don't have the resume of having, you know, like 5 to 10, $14 million listings. But I do have the plan. And if I believe in the plan wholeheartedly, and I read the plan, and I've read those booklets, and I understand what they have to say, and I think about that, then I'm going to be able to speak to them about that. So I think that that's really behind everything, building that relationship, knowing what you have to offer, having the self-confidence in helping them. I know it's a lot of words to get there, but sometimes it takes that to do that. And I always look at what I could have done a little bit better, so that I can, you know, the next time I call, I can say, like, okay, talks about broker. I said, well, I will call you broker, but did you get my 7-point strategic plan, and what did you think about it? Well, they hung up on me. But that's, you know, you have to go for no. You go for like 10 or 12 no's, and then you finally get that yes. And so I kind of write on my yellow pad, okay, that was getting closer to the yes.
Yes.
So what I'm doing
Gail,
is I'm managing my emotions. And
Gail,
Gail,
I want to weigh in. I want to weigh in on the word outcome, because I can see that you came in a little bit after the call started. I actually gave you credit for focusing in on that word. What I am trying to teach Laura, and I was just about to say it, I 100% want an outcome that's clear on every call. As clear as possibly can be. And the reality of the moment is, what I meant was detached from that positive outcome right off the bat. Of course you want it, but it's not always there. In fact, in Dean's words, it's relationship that we're after. Is there a shot? And the reality of this is, well, like, what do you really think you're going to pick up the phone every single day, and every single day you're going to hit a bogey? If you make enough calls and you are aggressive enough, you will get into houses on a regular basis. Ask Paul Mihalowicz. The pragmatic approach is that, hold on. Yeah, but hang on. Hang on.
Get an answer to an outcome.
Hang on. I got to get this in. Hang on.
I agree with that, but it gets you one step closer.
Okay, hang on. Here's what I got to say. I got to get this in, and then I'll let Gail go back at it. Going for no is getting defined outcomes along the way. If I call Sally and I get a defined no, that's good. Okay, that doesn't mean I didn't want Sally to invite me over. That doesn't mean I didn't want Sally to become a prospect that I could follow up on. Right? I want the best outcome every time I pick up the phone or go face to face. If I walk into a property and I'm ready to go, I want to walk out with the listing signed. I want that. It's a positive outcome. I'm attached to that outcome, and I'm going to do everything that I can do. However, if I go super authentically up underneath these people, in order to get it, if I can come back around underneath them, lift them up with empowering information about how this goes down, that is a far better process for getting what I want, if what I want is there. The timing is not always there. You can be the best at coming in and giving the gift of information and education and lifting those people up, and their timing is just not right now. And that's okay. You still walk away with a milestone of saying, you know what, Laura? I went to that person's house. Good appointment. You got me there. No matter what we're going to do, they're just not going to be ready until March 31st. Because they just will not do it. So we listen, we come back, and we upgrade the information that we continue to give them. Because the minute I walk out the door, what happens? They forget. I lose continuity. And this is where conversion and follow-up are everything. All that hard work to get a relationship started, even though I was at the table with the outcome in my hand that I wanted, sign this listing agreement, let's go. No, I'm not ready, but I like you. So you keep following up. Now I've got a 60-day window, 90-day window where I walk out. If I do my job of continue to educate them, I give them a flow of sold properties every time something around them comes up. I slow drip out the same course I gave them in a booklet, and it keeps coming. Laura goes back to follow up on a frequency that makes sense. They're not going to do something till March. Why don't you put a little touch on them every other week? So now we have layers of follow-up happening so that what we just achieved for a milestone doesn't atrophy and worse disappear. So all I was saying is that on the phone call or the face-to-face, go for the ultimate by lifting them up with empowering information, which is what? Your plan, like you heard what Gail said. Gail actually went in, got in a scrap. When I say scrap, a positive way. She sends out this stuff. Oh, Gail, I can't list with you. You don't do $14 million properties. Well, forget about what I do. Did you get my plan? My plan is the thing. So when Gail did our one-on-one, I circled back and said, okay, Gail, rather than just let him focus on your resume, say, look, here's the bottom line. There are 3 properties that sold in Palo Alto around your property when you didn't. Here's one that it's $15 million. And the challenge is, you're right. When I sent you those comparables, you told me these don't compare. You're right. But the money does. Somebody took $15 million and spent it, not on you. So we just have to figure out why following my plan. Okay? So let me just go back to Gail here. Gail, if you want to add to that, I just wanted to get that clarification in that I am in agreement with her. Get a darn outcome. It's too hard to get somebody on the phone. It's too hard to get a meeting, get a clear outcome, and bring it to a very dead-end conclusion. They sold and became a past client, or they said, no way, never. Go ahead, Gail.
Well, I think really what's important when you're doing the calling, is to know your outcome, but be prepared for some objections. And if you have those listed somewhere, or before you call, go through some of the things you're going to say. I'm not saying you script it, but you have to be able to answer the objections that they're going to say. And when you're prepared like that, maybe you get to talk to one person out of, all during the day. That's like gold. I mean,
for sure.
Diamonds aren't made like diamonds.
Right.
They're black and they have to be polished. And so one of the things you have to do is know that, wow, you're getting closer to that diamond. And so you get excited when you get on that phone, take a deep breath, and then just go through whatever your intro is, and then find out timing and motivation in the clearest way possible. I just make it really simple, because a confused mind, as we know, does nothing, and it'll stop you from executing. So just make it just really simple. Yeah. Are you thinking about buying or selling? Would you like Gail to come by, and, like she has offered, to analyze why your lovely estate didn't sell, and speak slowly? And I can't say that enough, because Laura did a really good job of doing that. Is really spoke slowly, because we're catching everybody off guard. And even though we think we're going to talk like, hi, this is Gail from Rossetti Realty Group, that's way too fast. Yeah. Because they can't capture it, because they're getting interrupted.
Let's go back. Let's go.
Whatever they're doing. So
let's go back to the script. Yeah. Let's go back to the script. Go back to the script.
I mean, I dialed a lot of people today, and I got 5 no's, 3 wrong numbers, and 1 maybe. And that's pretty good, I think. Yeah. For whatever I call probates, expired examples. And I think, and Danny, I asked my husband, why do you think I get more calls than answers than Flo does? He goes, he didn't know, maybe luck. I don't think there is luck. Yeah. I think that you're preparing your mind, your state of mind, your mindset. Yeah. And it's like everything you do, it's preparation, but not to make it so overwhelming. Just prepare yourself. Hey, I'm going to get on this call. I'm going to talk with somebody. My outcome is going to be to develop a relationship and find out if they want to list their property.
Right, but you can't. But Gail, you can't.
I'm calling for Laura. It's your second time.
Yeah, but you can't just converse. You can't just converse, Laura. I'm going to come back to this. You can't just converse. It's not just okay. I did inside sales. The very first job I ever had that was a significant job was at a venture capital company. I was inside sales. It was our job to pick up the phone and go find people that had companies.